on the prior shift, David Reinbacher and Arbor Jacki did a nice job. And now we got a fight.
Florian Jacki all over the score sheet tonight. Up against Deslauriers, some heavyweights. That'll play the X, go and give it to you song we often hear when Arbor Jacki drops the gloves.
That's a big boy fight.
Bouncing puck into the corner on the far side, and upended was Jacki. That's Florian Jacki. Tuck on the loose puck in the corner. McDonald jammed that puck free. Richard coughed it up. He had a chance to clear. And now we get another fight. Tuck is going to drop the gloves with Hunter McDonald. And he might regret this move. Hunter McDonald's a big customer, can take care of himself, and just kind of tosses the Canadian to the ice.
Yeah, a little bit of a one-sided bout there.
Can bring it, so you certainly want to have that toughness as well in the lineup. The Flyers have it with Deslauriers in there.
Whatever the problem was, it's been fixed. There's Zamula keeping the puck in.
Here we go.
It's down, and here we go. There's Deslauriers. And Polito, as you talked about, two of the better tough guys in the NHL. Polito got the right hand free. I'm not sure if he actually connected with him. Now, Deslauriers trying to spin around, comes up a little right. We've got each other at arm's length at this point. Oh, that's Polito right to the side of the head. And they swing each other around again. Oh, and that right from Deslauriers got in there. Both helmets somehow still on. Oh, a right cross from Deslauriers, and then they wrap up. That's two big guys. Polito 6'3", 226. Deslauriers 6'1", 219. And you can see some of the remnants of the punches from Polito on Nick's face, and he wants the crowd to get into it.
Well, as I mentioned, after the Winnipeg game, I felt like the energy was
the potential to score a lot of power play goals.
I agree with that.
Look out here, Kraken coming right back, and they got that into the blue, but bounced through, and the Flyers chop it out to center ice. Hathaway dumped by Cale Fleury as he played that across ice. Seeler will dump it back to Santa. We got a fight. Bacon in a fight, and he takes Fleury down and got a shot in while they were down on the ice.
He didn't like the hit on Hathaway by Fleury. I think Bacon may get the instigator for this.
Well, he scores points with his teammates, and certainly with the fans there as he wants some more noise.
And Hathaway gives him a high five and thanks him. You know, to me, that goes a long way in building the culture inside the room.
Here's the call.
Seattle number 8, 5 minutes for fighting. Philadelphia 29, 5 minutes for fighting, 2 minutes for instigator, and a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah, I had the feeling that he was going to get it, but you know what? To me, I don't mind it. I really don't. It was a hit on Hathaway. He's kind of backing into Fleury. Grebenkin didn't like it, so he goes over there to stick up for his teammate. And to me, early on, we've had this discussion in years past. Early on in the season, I think these situations are okay. To me, it's about building that bond inside the room, sticking up for your teammates.
Lindgren drops the gloves and starts swinging on Konechny. Might have jumped him, but Konechny's got the right hands going underneath. This is a scrap now. Lindgren's helmet's still on. Konechny has them all wrapped up. And the linesman trying to get in there. Break it up.
A good job by Konechny. A bit of a mismatch for Lindgren and Konechny, but Konechny came to the aid of his own teammate. All started with a big hit by Owen Tippett on Ty Cartier by the Seattle bench. He was hurting. Lindgren came over, gave it to Tippett. Then Konechny came over in Tippett's defense, and Lindgren was quick to get the gloves off, and hard to tell if Konechny landed a couple of rights there. If when they take him down, watch when Konechny takes him down to the ice. I wonder if this is where Lindgren ends up getting bloodied. His face kind of goes face down. Maybe right there was where it happened, or maybe it was a couple of quick rights that perhaps Konechny landed by the bench. Just hard to tell. And Konechny, obviously a lot to say to Lindgren. Boy, he's been engaged here tonight.
That might be a case for Lindgren to be careful what you asked for. He initiated it. We'll turn it into the corner this way. Hathaway rams into Cizikas, but the puck ahead to McLean. Cizikas and Hathaway. Now Mayfield comes over, and he and Hathaway going to drop the gloves. Hathaway and Mayfield. And Hathaway has the right hand free, goes over the top, rips his helmet off. And they got a right hand in, and then
great job.
Very quickly, the linesmen jump in, and there is a massive cut on the head of Mayfield.
Terrific job by Hathaway. Great energy.
Might have been the wrong side of the bed bush, but it works. We'll be back.
1-0 lead here this afternoon on a shorthanded goal by Simon Holmstrom, but Garrett Hathaway, you could just get the sense he's trying to get his team energized, getting them going. 3 hits on the afternoon so far for Hathaway, and Mayfield asks him to go, and Hathaway says, yeah, no problem, I'll take you on. And a spirited fight between Hathaway and Mayfield, a fight that saw Hathaway end up with the upper hand, and Mayfield looking like he's going to need some repairs. But a great job by Hathaway to...
Point effort for Zegras as a Flyer for the first time. Flyers after this puck with Bink. We'll call it offside. And then we get a little gathering. Grabenkin and Cizikas. Grabenkin not taking anything from the veteran, and then Hathaway still ornery, and Mayfield as they get together for a second time.
I think Hathaway is lucky here that Mayfield is going to go with Hathaway, because Hathaway ripped off the helmet of Mayfield.
And now Abels having a word.
Mayfield / Mayfield
trying to draw a penalty there, and he may have succeeded.
Mayfield on his way to the box.
We got
JJ.
2 Islanders on Abels in the corner now. McLean has him wrapped up. Grabenkin goes over to help out. It's starting to look like
something going here.
Flyers
Here we
30
go.
years ago.
Here we go.
Abels will go, and down to the ice goes McLean. Schaefer's involved. He's wrapped up with a Flyer as well. Grabenkin is involved. Juleson has a bear hug on Siplikov. Cizikas, Schaefer, both with Yinning. You know, if I was to tell you, Bush, that this would erupt with this group of Flyers on the ice outside of Hathaway, who had already been escorted to the box, you'd be surprised. But you talk about Yinning and Abels and Grabenkin, and these are kind of newcomers, but all showing they will stick up for their teammates and for themselves. Now we get to see what's called out of all this.
Well, however it shakes out, I just like the involvement by everybody on the ice, a pack mentality. Mayfield, who went over and gave a shot to Yinning on the way by, a little slash. Juleson came over and he had words for him, and it all started here as Cizikas and Grabenkin come together. I think Cizikas trying to intimidate the youngster. Now watch how Hathaway gets involved with Mayfield here, and he rips off the helmet right there. I mean, they take both of them. And I guess the technicality, they could have just taken Hathaway, but both go, and then after that, a lot more fireworks took place.
I think Scott might have worked on the acting lessons.
Yeah, maybe he tripped on something there, but overall, just
you're being very nice.
Overall, I like the involvement from everybody.
Here we go.
Philadelphia penalties, number 19, number 29, 2 minutes each for roughing. Number 18, 5 minutes for fighting. Islanders penalty, number 32, 5 minutes each for fighting. Number 24, 2 minutes for roughing, and number 48, 2 minutes for roughing. We'll play 5-on-5.
So I guess it all evens out. You got a little confused there in the last part of the call, but it appears as though, since he says it's 5-on-5, that everything's going to even out. Abels, that was a brief fight, but they're going to classify that. Deslauriers fought Jack Guy's brother in the preseason, so you got to know that Arbor Jack Guy had this one circled. And Two tough guys is a right cross by Deslauriers and then a right uppercut from Deslauriers. He gets those rights going and then Jack Guy comes back with some lefts. Deslauriers keeps hammering and he got him with that right. Down with Jack Guy, he gets back up and the linesman get in there. Nic Deslauriers, he'll take on anybody.
So that an opposition that has depth that can score like that. So yeah, I mean, maybe you lack that real high end. Oh, here we go. This is the fight. This is the fight we were talking about.
Yeah, this is it. Curtis Douglas, 6'9", 242. Nic Deslauriers, 6'1", 219. The size advantage certainly to Douglas, but we know Nic Deslauriers is a tough customer. Oh, sizing each other up. Now they engage the long reach for Douglas. Deslauriers tried to get a left jab in there. Now tries to go over the top of the right. Douglas got one inside there on Nick. Nick got one over the top. Now he hammers away to the back of the head. Douglas starts firing away to the shoulder. Now Douglas a right there. The side of the head. Right over the top from Deslauriers. Another right from Deslauriers. Oh, he caught him with one and down he goes. The bigger they are, the further they fall. Nic Deslauriers taking care of Curtis Douglas, and the bench loving that.
What stands out to me in a bout like that is the size disparity and how Deslauriers.
44 Philadelphia, 42 Tampa. Both guys, 5 each for fighting.
I had to lay out for that.
West McCauley.
That is entertainment at its highest form, but like how Deslauriers, in giving up 8 inches, is still able to keep Douglas away and then eventually get inside and do the dirty work. That to me is what is impressive.
That is the 88th fight of Nic Deslauriers' career. It's the 5th fight for Douglas. Not to take it into the boards heavily. Referees both look at it. Deslauriers is going to go. And the punches are being thrown very quickly here. As Deslauriers manhandles the Ranger on the ice.
Yeah, that's often the one who was a recipient of the hit.
We'll see here. The puck bounces over his stick, and Deslauriers.
44 Philadelphia has a minor penalty for a board and 5 minutes for fighting. 78 for New York, 5 minutes for fighting.
Did not play last night. All stories in their own right. Denver Barkey check. And the gloves are off and away we go. It's Kane. And Nick Seeler trading blows and down goes Kane. Well, fights are not something the Canucks do a lot of. That's only their 5th fight of the year. We'll have to see how this one evolved.
I think maybe Kane delivered a hit a tad late on Seeler, and Seeler had his back to him as well, and maybe Seeler,
Vancouver 91, both 5 for fighting.
simply didn't like it. And you know what, early on, a little fight to get everybody charged up. Here's the hit. I mean, it's not overly late, but certainly maybe one of those where you could have eased up, and Seeler, I think Seeler just wanted to get things going, truthfully. That's just the way Seeler is, recognizing that they lost the last game against Seattle. No better way to get your team fired up than to drop the gloves. Both guys willing combatants, a pretty good tilt to start this game.
Team USA doing a nice job of putting out those videos. Here's Hyman maybe with a 3rd chance. From the corner, he's centered.
Oh, fight.
But we're going to have a fight. Garrett Hathaway. Hathaway and Nurse. This should be a good one. 2 veterans. Hathaway short with a right hand to start.
They'll go lefts too.
Nurse lands a right. Little short with an uppercut. Misses a wild right. Short with a right hook. Hathaway misses a couple of rights, and Nurse eventually taken down as neither really got their feet set.
The spin cycle is what that one was, and obviously old foes, as Hathaway was a Calgary Flame for years and very familiar with one another. He's been a healthy scratch for the last 6 games, so you know he wanted to get something going in his first game back in the lineup, and he's known for this. Hathaway's a big guy, but this one right off the draw, a little conversation. I think Nurse, trying to get his team going here, says, hey, let's drop the gloves and get going. Hathaway eagerly obliges as he's trying to get himself into the game as well, and then this is the spin as they go. Both guys at distance. Eventually they will fall down onto the ice, but a spirited tilt. We'll see if that leans it either way. and maybe gets the motivation up a little bit. Rick Tocchet's going to be happy to see Hathaway mixing it up in his first game back in the lineup in 7.
Bacon into the middle. Brink. Oh, he's bodied on a flyby hit. Brink's not getting up. Very slowly now. Now the gloves are off. Noah Cates jumps to his defense as he goes after Jansen Harkins, who threw that hit. Flyers will stick up for one another. There's no doubt about that. Brink back on his skates, but does look a little woozy. We'll see if he is okay. By Gudas. And then Hathaway destroys. More and more is slow getting up, and Hathaway gets jumped by Gudas. So Hathaway, we'll see if Gudas gets an instigation here. He better. As Gudas now some body punches. Hathaway wrestling position here. So be back-to-back games with a fight for Garrett Hathaway. Not many punches were actually landed, at least to the facial areas. Crowd loves it as the intensity continues in this one. An idea of their depth, and that's without some players.
Yeah, and both those guys are on power plays. It looks like a little mix-up there at center ice. Hathaway's tangled up with Carlisle.
His third fight in 4 games for Garrett Hathaway. The rights are throwing. Down goes Carlisle. Hathaway takes one more shot at him. As down they went.
Love it. I love it. Good stuff there by Hathaway. He's got the goal. He's got that thing out of the way. But as you mentioned, JJ, since he's been scratched.
67, Philly 19, both 5 each, fighting.
Since he's been scratched, I mean, he has been much more physical, much more noticeable, much more impactful. And right here, finishes his hit on Carlisle. Carlisle don't like it. He gives him the stick. And Hathaway's not going to back down. And to me, nothing wrong with this. This can get your bench fired up. He lands a pretty good right there, right on the jaw, ear area of Carlisle.
Taken checked by James. And the Lightning get to it. Another heavy hit. Abels gets crunched from behind, in fact jumped by Nick Paul after he delivered the hit on Carlisle. And now another fight. Grabenkin's throwing. We got 2 fights at once. Grabenkin and Crozier. Grabenkin got one in. Now Abels starting to hammer away on Paul. And down they go. Grabenkin continues his fight. Grabenkin got the right hand free. Got an uppercut in there as well. Now he takes a right. And now, he hammers him as Crozier was down on his knees, and Grabenkin keeps throwing as they go to the ice. Crozier wants more, but there's a linesman between them. As you can see, Sean Oliver now getting some help from Travis Garlitz, the other linesman, and they'll separate the two. Not the first tussle for Grabenkin this year, but I think it's the first time we had 2 fights going simultaneously this year.
Good job by the 4th line, recognizing that they need a spark. Abels came in and delivered a big hit, and Grabenkin was right behind Abels to get in the mix as well. And Grabenkin
in front, holding it, trying to wrap it around was Achari. And Kolosov committed, but could not get full control of the puck. And Barkey back from center, and he meets the shoulder of Lazat. Achari and his pocket picked by Couturier. Barkey right back up, and now protecting Barkey. Believe it or not, Michkov goes after Lazat. I'm not sure you'd expect Matvei Michkov to be the guy to go squirting off with Lazat and throwing some haymakers, but the Flyers bench loves the fact that Michkov became the guy to exact the retribution.
Let me tell you something. Matvei Michkov just endeared himself to his teammates and head coach Rick Tocchet even more. Because you're right. And when a player you're not expecting to get into a tilt gets into one, it gives a jolt on the bench. Here's what Barkey does. That's a big hit by Lazat and the youngster, Barkey. As Barkey made that play, Lazat with a big-time hit. And Lazat recently signed that contract. And let me tell you something, Michkov initiated this tilt. He went in defense, and then Lazat with a bit of a DDT. Some old school WWF/WWE, but this is the hit that prompted it. The tracks, and a clean check. But I got to tell you something. With Michkov stepping up there, that's absolutely huge. You're not expecting that from Michkov. And that's going to go a long way in this group in terms of the way they feel about Michkov.
Michkov picks up the extra 2 minutes, it would seem, for instigating the fight. His first career major, as he'll be in the box for a while.
And a juke, and he gets it into the Philadelphia zone. Drysdale after it. Oh, he gets steamrolled by McBain. The puck bounces the other way. Schmidt a shot. Save Harrison, and now we got a fight. Juleson and McBain. Wilson coming to his teammates' aid. And they will have at it. Eventually. Now they engage. And they both have each other tied up. Ooh, pretty big bodies here. McBain especially. It's the right hand free. Might have connected with that last one. Most of them being blocked. Got that one in. Now Juleson in the defensive mode here as McBain has that right hand going. Goes with an uppercut over the top. And then another one, and down goes Juleson. So Jack McBain with a win in that fight. Juleson, though, comes to the aid of his teammate.
As part of this fourth line, Brunstrom trying to dig it free with Romankin. And there's a big hit by Hathaway, and that plastered Offman, who's just now getting back on his feet. And some gloves are off. Hathaway and Carrick.
Carrick's gone with some big boys this year. Hathaway is pretty seasoned in this.
Size advantage for Hathaway. You have to give credit for Carrick, who enthusiastically took it on.
That was a good right from Carrick.
Carrick 6 feet, 200 pounds. Hathaway 6'2", about 212.
And he'll pitchfork it out to the neutral zone all the way down, and now the gloves will drop. This conversation took place at center ice pregame, and now it will be the main event. Nic Deslauriers and Tanner Jeannot. And we are underway. Early advantage, Deslauriers. His bucket is off. And Jeannot responds. Oh, this is a heavyweight tilt.
It is. These are two tough customers. Deslauriers getting some rights. Jeannot trying to string him out. He's a little longer. Jeannot coming over the top. Uppercut by Deslauriers. Over the top by Jeannot. Jeannot raining down some rights.
And boy, Deslauriers can take a punch as well as he can deliver one.
Both out of gas. What a tilt.
Wow.
What a tilt.
We were wondering if Nic Deslauriers was going to be in the lineup today. It was either he or Denver Barkey that was going to be in Rick Tocchet's fourth line. We learned Nic Deslauriers would join the lineup during warm-ups, and during warm-ups, this was a conversation taking place between the two about 20 minutes before puck drop.
While they stretch right here, center ice, you and me, once we get going and we get matched up. And I think that's a big part of why Rick Tocchet has Deslauriers in the lineup. The Boston Bruins are a very physical team. As you mentioned, they're the most penalized team. They've got a lot of toughness. And you need some of your own deterrence in the case of Deslauriers for the Philadelphia Flyers. And what a tilt. Heavyweight. You don't need to go to Vegas to see a great fight. We had one here at this matinee already. Two heavyweight titans. Wow, what a fight.
Standing right there. Pretty nice passing. Oh!
Big hit, Avery Hayes on Cam York. Drysdale wants him, and Hayes says, bring it. Jamie Drysdale sent Hayes to the ice as Kindle gets involved with Cates. They were going at it all shift.
But here's the big hit here by Avery Hayes. Just absolutely levels Cam York, and look at him get in there. Not even a second later. Throwing some haymakers as well there. Kind of lets him get up. Linesman get in there to break that one up. But when you do that, that's amazing. Has he had a fight in his NHL career?
He has not. He had a sit. What's it called? Glendening is added back into the lineup after being a healthy scratch. Minnesota, and a big hit there on Severson by Grundstrom, and Grundstrom is jumped, and Grundstrom gets the left hand going on Fantilli. Got another one developing between Couturier and Sillinger, and now Fantilli knocks or drags Grundstrom to the ice, and that one brief. But a heavy hit on Severson, and Fantilli, the youngster, the 21-year-old, went to his teammate's defense.
Getting in there. He knows that body check's coming. Head hits the glass there, yeah, and no time wasted there by Fantilli. Severson's up and that. He's fine with that, but good job for Carl Grundstrom to drop the gloves and go after it with Fantilli. And not sure if there's going to be a instigator awarded.
Will bank it back out to Seeler. Seeler will lean into one, but that deflects and goes off the glass. Andre in from the other point. Tipped it free. Michkov has it. We got a fight. It's Seeler and Harkins. And the pair of 24s going at it. Seeler's got the right hand free, and he's having now. He switches to the left. Harkins tries to retaliate. Now Harkins with a right to the side of Seeler's head. Seeler another right, and down goes Harkins. And remember, it was Jansen Harkins who caught Bobby Brink with a hit when these teams played back in Philadelphia that gave Bobby a concussion. Not a Flyer anymore, but he's still their friend. They'll both go to the bouts.
Send a note to Brinker. Seeler with a point shot. I don't know what really got it going. I mean, something was said as Harkins got near Seeler, and what ensued was a pretty spirited fight where both guys were willing combatants. I think Seeler got the best of it with this
one coming up.
Right there, a good right there by Seeler.
James, third time this year he has done that. Never has he gone to a third. We've got ourselves a fight to start this off. Garrett Wilson, in his second game back in the NHL, is going to go up against Ryan Reeves, who leads players, active players in fights. Wilson showing he's not afraid of anybody as he's taking on perhaps the toughest customer out there. There's a right by Reeves. Wilson tries to come back over the top. A right by Wilson. Down goes Reeves. He gets back up, still swinging. And then they have to be separated by the linesman. Wilson, a good account for himself.
Yeah, they don't get much tougher than Ryan Reeves in the National Hockey League. That is for sure. I think Reeves, he's giving
5 minutes each for Chuck and Nux.
Chuck and Nux, okay.
Brandon Schrader with a creative call.
Reeves looked like he banged up his left hand in that fight. He went over to the Sharks bench right after the fight to get some attention, but then eventually made his way to the penalty box, and you can see he's still trying to sort out.
The Sharks and Flyers have played in Philadelphia earlier this season. The Sharks lost 4-1, but that was during a great stretch that included that fabulous come-from-behind win over the Flyers' cross-state rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And we've got a scrap right off the get-go. Garrett Wilson, the veteran, against Ryan Reeves, the veteran, and they're dropping the gloves to set the tone here in the second minute of the hockey game. Reeves just back into the lineup. Wilson recently won 7 years between NHL games, just up from the American Hockey League. A couple of punches thrown, some words exchanged, and I think the tone appropriately set for the rest of the afternoon.
Got a little bit of a hand issue right here. Oh, I don't want to see that. No, my goodness me. That is your finger out of position. And Will Leonard just yanks on it, yanks that pinky finger back into position. You want to talk tough. You want to talk about Ryan Reeves and what he brings to the team. He brings that kind of heat.
A dislocated finger for Reeves. Part of doing business the way Ryan Reeves has done it his entire career. Two veterans, Wilson, as we said, just up from the American Hockey League, had gone since 2019 since he last played, 35 years of age. And Reeves is going to go to the dressing room, something not right with that hand, even after they tried to take care of it on the bench, right?
Yeah. And they have to hustle to get to it. Zegras takes a huge hit, stapled there on the hit by Goodrow. Cates comes over to give him a word or two and drops the gloves, and they're going to go. Zegras is shaken up, very slowly making his way back toward the Philadelphia bench as Cates, who's done this before. They got a guy who has thrown his fists before the NHL. Cates in a defending posture, trying to go with a right there, and then drags him down to the ice.
Good job by Noah Cates. Great job. Yeah, it's a clean hit. The puck's there. Zegras is looking down at the puck. He doesn't see it, and then here comes Goodrow, and good job by Cates to recognize that he's got to get in there. And does a good job. Goodrow can chuck him, and Cates did a really nice job there. So credit all the way around. Hopefully Zegras is okay. I think he seems to be fine. He's hanging out by the bench right now, but you got to just love that camaraderie and sticking up for one another. It goes a long way in building the culture of a team.
Kenny the Jet for Shaq. Out to center ice, coming up on 2.5. We got a potential for a scrap, and we're going to go. Fabro dropped the gloves.
Fabro and Dvorak.
And Christian Dvorak.
Yep. Ooh, Dvorak coming over the top. Fabro holding on, trying to get free. Dvorak still with his helmet on. And you can see Fabro is trying to pull. Oh, he got an uppercut in, but that'll be it. So score this one for Dvorak, but give both fellas credit for showing up. Fans loving it here in Philadelphia, PA as well, as expected. So as mentioned, Leaves, and for you great fans at home, this is one of those games where there's not a lot of room to make plays.
Number 22, Philly's got a 5 minutes for fighting. Number 39, Philly has got a 2 minutes for embellishment. Number 15, Columbus got a 5 minutes for fighting. Number 15's got a 2 minutes for cross-checking. We'll be playing 5-on-5.
So there you hear it. So this is what started. It's the initial one by Michkov, and Fabro is basically like, shoot fly, get off me. Michkov trying to claim something, and Fabro tried to get an undercut in, and Dvorak scores the takedown. So a spirited tilt here in the city of brotherly love, as it's affectionately known.